Hey, welcome to BJJ Mental Models. I'm Steve Kwan. BJJ Mental Models is your guide to a conceptual and intelligent jiu-jitsu approach. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit differently. Normally I'm joined here by guests and I get to pick their brains about exciting jiu-jitsu stuff. But today I thought it would be a good time to maybe give everyone a quick explanation of how you can best make use of all of the content that we make. It's become more and more apparent that the longer we do this and the bigger our content library gets, the harder it is for everyone to understand all of the things that you can use our platform for. We've got a lot of stuff. A ton of it is free. And so I want to make sure that everyone understands the best way to use all of the stuff that we make and that we provide to the community. I'm also going to do something a little bit differently here. In addition to the audio version of this recording that I'm going to put on the public podcast feed, I am also going to turf this onto our YouTube channel. For those who don't know, we do have a YouTube channel. Mostly it is just recordings of the podcast up there for people who prefer to listen in YouTube, but we also do add other stuff here and there. So definitely recommend giving it a subscribe if you haven't already. But anyway, if you want to see a visual of what we're going to be talking about here today, just check out that YouTube video because I'm actually giving a presentation as I record this right now and showing visually everything that I'm going to be talking about. So again, this is not a regular episode of BJJ Mental Models. I will take no offense if people skip through this one to the next one, but if you are a longtime listener and fan of the product and you want to make more use of this to get value out of BJJ Mental Models, I'm going to talk about that today and just walk through all of the different stuff that we make. Again, the majority of this is all free, so please don't look at this first part here as a sales pitch. All of the stuff you can access for free off of our website. And that's just probably as good a place as any to start with. So bjjmentalmodels.com is where everything that we make lives. Of course, what we're best known for is the podcast, but what you might not know is that we also have a full database of all of the concepts that we talk about on the show available for free on our website, and that can be a tremendous supplementary resource. Additionally, you might have noticed that, and you've probably heard me talk about this on the podcast, we've got a really popular newsletter. It's also free. And we'll dig into that into a second, but first I just kind of want to run through everything. So you go to bjjmentalmodels.com. That, again, is where everything that we make lives. Like I said, the main thing that we're known for is the BJJ Mental Models podcast. It's been running for about 5 years as of this recording. We're closing in on 300 episodes. The things that make BJJ Mental Models unique is that it is focused on evergreen educational jiu-jitsu content. We don't talk a lot about current events or drama in the jiu-jitsu community. Rather, our goal is every week to teach you something useful and actionable. And in order to do that, I try to bring on some of the best coaches, athletes, and experts that I can find to share their opinions. A lot of the time, those are going to be people within the jiu-jitsu community, but sometimes you're going to find people outside the community who also have a tremendous amount of expertise in the area. Again, on our website, if you want to find the podcast, that's one easy way to do it. You go there and you can just play the latest episode directly off of our website. You can also find easy ways to plug it into your Apple Podcast or Spotify player or whatever. So we're basically available on pretty much every platform. Just go to bjjmentalmodels.com and you'll get the links, or just go to your favorite podcast directory, search for BJJ Mental Models. You should be able to find us. Failing all of that, you can also just listen directly on our website. We've got a built-in browser with all of the episodes there. So if you're at your desk and you just want to have an endless playlist of jiu-jitsu chat going, that's as good a place as any. So yeah, I'd say that one thing that makes us different, as I mentioned earlier, every episode is intended to be timeless, educational, and evergreen. So you can go back to our very first episode and listen to that, and you'll get just as much value out of that as you would have when we recorded it 5 years ago. Our content is not intended to go stale over time. Everything in the library will be just as useful today as it was the day that it recorded, and we have a lot of listeners who do that. They start back from episode 1. You do that, and you've got almost 300 hours of educational instruction there, just completely available to you for free. So definitely recommend hitting up the library if you haven't already done so. Again, for those who have listened to our format, you kind of know the game. We identify mental models or underlying patterns and concepts in jiu-jitsu, and we try to teach those, explain to you the simple ideas that, when applied, will make multiple aspects of your jiu-jitsu better. And that approach has been what made us unique, and it has also been what has allowed us to become, as far as I can tell, the most popular jiu-jitsu education podcast in the world. So again, completely free. It's all on our website. Go there if you haven't already. Now, if you listen to our podcast with our regularity, you may have noticed that in the show notes, a lot of the time, I will actually list off the concepts that we've talked about in the episode. So if you click on any random episode, most of the time you will see a section that says, here's the mental models that are discussed in this episode. And if you click through one of those, you will land on our database. What you'll find here is that we've got over 150 mental models applicable to jiu-jitsu on our website, all documented for quick reference. This is probably the biggest online database of jiu-jitsu concepts that's available anywhere online, at least as far as I know, and it's completely free. Now, we broadly break these concepts down into 4 categories: learning, mechanics, social, and strategic. A lot of jiu-jitsu resources just focus on the mechanical side of things, how the body works, but I kind of think that if we want to really make everyone better grapplers, we need to look at this more holistically. So people who listen to our show know that we talk extensively about ways to optimize your learning. So if you take a look on our site, you will find all sorts of articles written up about stuff like the 80-20 rule, the abundance mindset, beginner's mind, all of this stuff, things we've talked on the show a lot about. So if you ever need a reference to go back to find those topics and learn more about them, you can go to our website. You'll also find that if you go and you click on any of these articles and you take a look at them, in addition to the write-up, we also try to provide resources to further study. So for example, relevant articles online, relevant books, and often relevant episodes of the podcast. So that's another way that you can attack the BJJ Mental Models podcast rather than just starting at episode 1 and listening all the way through. You can go to our database, find a concept that you want to learn more about, and then check the resources there. And that will, much of the time, lead you back to the podcast and give you an episode that you can listen to, which will talk about that concept in more detail. So we talked about the learning concepts. Again, there's a whole bunch of these that we've got listed here. Of course, we also talk about mental models for jiu-jitsu mechanics, how the body works, how to manipulate your opponent's body. If you've listened to the podcast many times, you will have heard me talk about things like the 3-joint rule or the anatomic hierarchy or Rob Bernanke's theory of alignment. These are all powerful ways to understand the mechanics of jiu-jitsu. And again, we've got tons and tons of write-ups of each of these concepts on the website. Very important stuff. And if you're struggling with figuring out how jiu-jitsu actually works at a mechanical level, this is an amazing resource. Think of it like a bunch of Wikipedia articles, but for jiu-jitsu mental models instead. Now, one of the things that's also unique about us is we talk about the social side of things on the podcast. We also talk about concepts and strategies for how to cultivate a better social environment. This is so important in jiu-jitsu, especially if you are an instructor or a leader at your gym. This is often not thought enough about. How can you build a relatable, inclusive culture? How can you tell if your students are overwhelmed, underwhelmed? All of this stuff, again, we've talked extensively on the podcast about, and whenever we flag an important mental model, we put an article on the website and we document that. So again, you will find a bunch of articles there. And of course, the last category is strategy. In addition to how the body works, there's a whole strategic element to jiu-jitsu that I personally love to discuss. Just the big ideas that help you make better decisions on the fly. So much of good grappling is not about actual athletic talent or even jiu-jitsu skill, but rather about your ability to apply strategy on the fly. And I love talking about this stuff. So if you check out our website, you will see there are many, many articles that we've written on the strategy of jiu-jitsu as well. Again, all of this lives at bjjmentalmodels.com/database. So please do check that out if you haven't already done so. One other thing that we offer for free is the BJJ Mental Models newsletter. As of this recording, we're getting close to about 10,000 subscribers. It is completely and entirely free. Why you would want to sign up for this, first of all, every Monday when we release a new episode of the podcast, you will get extended show notes in your mailbox. Additionally, every Friday, you will get a thought piece that expands further on the topics that we've discussed on the show, usually related to this week's episode. So it's a great supplementary resource if you want to dig in a little bit deeper and unpack the message that was communicated on the show. The other thing, too, is that we also try to make it worthwhile for people to sign up to our newsletter. If you're on our newsletter, every once in a while, you will get a freebie from me, often in the form of a free instructional. I don't know many other people who will give you that kind of value for signing up to a newsletter. So again, completely free. We don't sell your data or anything. You can unsubscribe whenever you want. So my recommendation to people is always sign up for the newsletter. You definitely are going to want to. You will get the value out of it. It doesn't cost you anything. And if I'm wrong about this, you can just unsubscribe and you won't hear from us again. So that's kind of a summary of all of our free stuff. Now, again, we're already looking at hundreds of hours of content here. But a lot of the time, we get people who want to dig in deeper, and they want to use BJJ Mental Models as a platform for fully developing all aspects of their jiu-jitsu. They want to work more closely with us, and they want to have a more structured content experience based on the stuff that they've heard about on the show. So if you have listened to BJJ Mental Models for any period of time, you will probably have heard me plug BJJ Mental Models Premium. This is the part now where I start talking about the paid resources. Again, up until this point, everything that I've talked about has been free. If you don't want to listen to the rest because you're not willing to pay, I totally get that. But I will say this, if you listen through this, I will give you something that makes it worth your while. So you might want to listen to this because it's definitely going to have a dollar value attached to the end that you'll benefit from. So anyway, BJJ Mental Models Premium is, as far as I know, the biggest concepts and audio course library anywhere when it comes to the sport of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We've built a library of audio masterclasses that it spans over 100 hours at this point. It is completely unlike any other resource that I have found online when it comes to improving your Jiu-Jitsu game. The vast majority of online jiu-jitsu sites are going to sell you a video library. So just endless reams of techniques, a lot of show and tell. Here is me doing a move and here's all of the steps, go repeat it. That is all well and good. That is not entirely what we do though. My preference, rather than teaching you the nitty-gritty specifics and asking you to copy, is to teach you the big ideas and the strategic concepts and give you an explanation, not exactly of where does your hand go, where does your leg go, the kind of stuff that makes sense in video, but rather I want to explain to you why you would do all of this stuff, when it makes sense to do it, what kind of person should be doing it, what kind of person shouldn't be doing it, basically the nuance that you don't get if you're just looking at a technique video. So we have hundreds of subscribers to Premium around the world who use Premium as a supplement to better understand mindset, strategy, tactics, concepts, philosophy, that kind of stuff. And like I said, you simply will not get this from any other resource online, especially video academies, which are trying to solve for a completely different problem. So we've got hundreds of hours of audio courses on there. I try to bring in the best experts in the world to talk about these topics. So for example, recently we've put out an episode, we've put out a series that I really love. It's a course called Jiu-Jitsu for Hobbits featuring Josh Wentworth. The idea here is it's a course for people who are not necessarily just small, but also small, weak, unathletic, just generally outgunned. The challenge I've had with a lot of courses for small people is they assume that although you might be small, you're still maybe a super athlete, or maybe you're small, but you're competing with other small people. And I don't think there are many resources out there for realistic casual grapplers. So what if you are a 100-pound mother of three who's in her 40s and is trying jiu-jitsu for the first time? Where's the instructional for you? And my answer to that is it's this one. So that's included in Premium. All of our courses are included in Premium, which is another reason to sign up. We've also got a competition strategy course with Brianna St. Marie, tons of stuff from coaches like Rob Bernacki. Was thrilled to get Claudia Duvall and Rafael Lovato Jr. on our feed as well. So we've got a massive content course library and it's always growing there. And again, like I said, it's getting close to over 100 hours. So it's always growing. And again, I don't think there's anything quite like it. Definitely not even approaching the scale of what we do that you'll find anywhere else. The other cool thing we do too is we have premium exclusive podcasts. So it's not just me. If you are a BJJ Mental Models Premium subscriber, you will get access to several ongoing podcasts under our label that you can only find here. One of my favorites is The Highest Levels. It's hosted by multi-time black belt world champion Emily Kwok. She competes under Marcelo Garcia, has, as of this recording, I believe won 4 world championships at the black belt level. She's also an expert on peak performance, has worked very closely with folks like Josh Waitskin in the past. For those who have listened to the podcast for a long time, you know that Josh Waitskin and his book, The Art of Learning, were very inspirational to our work as well. And she joins her business partner and fellow black belt Joe Hannon every month as they talk about peak performance, high achievement, how to apply that both on the mats and off the mats. And it's an amazing series of conversations that she has with Joe. I just really love that podcast. We've also got a great one called State of the Meta, featuring Drew Foster, probably best known as one of the key contributors on Reddit under the name Darcenite. He's just an amazing analyst. And what he's done is he's joined us to do a podcast called State of the Meta, where he unpacks the current state of the competition landscape and does an analysis of where the meta is going, really to summarize for you what changes are coming up on the scene and where you should focus your time and attention on. The challenge that I have always had with jiu-jitsu instructionals is there's so much of it. There's only so many hours in the day to study this stuff, and it gets expensive if you want to buy everything. And I don't really know many people who have the time and inclination to just endlessly consume jiu-jitsu instructionals. So the reason we created this State of the Meta podcast with Drew is I wanted to have a quick resource that tells people what's happening and tells them where to go to learn it and gives them a brief summary. It's a really awesome resource by one of, again, in my mind, one of the best analysts in the sport. So definitely recommend checking out State of the Meta. You also get that as well if you are a BJJ Mental Models Premium subscriber. So definitely recommend checking that out. There's also a ton of other stuff that you're going to get when you join Premium. The big thing is we have an app. We're powered by Kajabi. So if you want an app to listen to all of the mental model stuff, you can just load it up in there. But also all of our Premium stuff can live in your existing podcast player. If you join Premium, you'll get a private RSS feed. You can load it into pretty much any major podcast app except for Spotify, which doesn't support this feature. And then you can just listen to all of our premium stuff just like you could any other podcast. So really, really awesome thing that you can do there. And some other perks too. We've got a lot of partner sites and partner products. If you join BJJ Mental Models Premium, you get a free Yoga for BJJ subscription included in your membership. That is an awesome perk. I am not aware of anyone else with the kind of value stack that we provide here. A Yoga for BJJ membership is just an incredible asset to have in your back pocket when it comes to improving your flexibility, assisting with your recovery, rehabbing for injuries. You're probably familiar with the name Yoga for BJJ because they're such a prominent resource in the space. Again, join BJJ Mental Models Premium and you get free access to that as long as you are a BJJ Mental Models Premium subscriber. So definitely recommend checking that out. Now, if you go to our next tier up, we've got 3 different tiers that we offer for Premium. We also have a coaching tier, and this is where we start getting really intense. Now, first of all, in our coaching tier, one of the things that we always get asked is, where's the video? You know, BJJ Mental Models focuses on audio, but what if you really want to see video application of this stuff? That's where the coaching tier comes into play. So you may, if you have been a longtime listener of this podcast, be familiar with Brother Matt Kwan. We call him that because he is my brother. He co-founded BJJ Mental Models with me 5 years ago, but he's gone off to focus on his own gym. And part of what he's done there is actually built an entire online academy. And if you join our coaching tier, you get access to this for free. Again, included with your membership. And as long as you are a BJJ Mental Models Premium subscriber, you will get access to Matt's online academy as well. So if you have been, like so many other people, asking for video content that talks about the concepts we discuss on the show, this is the place to go and get it. As of this recording, it normally runs for about $15 a month to sign up for Matt's membership. Join our coaching tier and you get all of that entirely for free. So again, an amazing deal, an amazing value stack here. In addition to all of the content that Matt covers in his classes, He also has a fundamentals curriculum, narrations of sparring and competition footage, resources for instructors, referees, gym owners. It's just a really great resource. I definitely recommend checking it out. He's always updating it when he's running class. He's recording and including the content here on the website. And those who know Matt and have listened to him talk know that he has a very analytical mind for jiu-jitsu. All of that is reflected on the site. He also links off to resources to study further, just like we do on the podcast. So if you go to his online academy, you want to learn more, you're always going to find a link out to other content that you could check out later. Now, one of the most unique things about BJJ Mental Models Premium is our coaching services. Most of the other online academies that you can sign up for are entirely one way. Basically, there is a coach somewhere who is recording their content and putting it up on their site, and you pay them a monthly fee to access that content. But you don't really have direct access to that coach, right? I mean, if you sign up for some famous grappler site, cool, you're paying them however much a month, but are you able to message that person and ask them questions? Are you able to send them your rolling footage and get them to break it down and give you feedback? Probably not, unless you are a BJJ Mental Models Premium subscriber in our coaching tier. So we've got a service where if you join our coaching or a tier or higher, you can upload videos through an interface like what you're seeing in front of you here. It's primarily web-based, but there is a mobile app as well. And we will get quite literally some of the best black belts in the world to break down and provide feedback directly for you. So if you are watching this in video form, what's on my screen right now is a narration that world champion and ADCC finalist Brianna St. Marie actually did for one of our subscribers. So again, the workflow here is subscriber records either a roll or upload some competition footage, send it to us, and quite literally some of the best black belts in the world will provide very detailed feedback on what you're doing. I just got an email yesterday from a premium subscriber saying that this was one of the most powerful jiu-jitsu experiences he had ever had in his life. He just sent in his first video and couldn't believe how much detailed feedback he got out of it. And this all makes perfect sense when you think about it. I mean, if you go into any jiu-jitsu gym in the world, you know, if you're in there with 30 other students and there's 1 hour or 1.5 hours of class time, it doesn't matter how good your instructor is. You simply will not get a lot of dedicated one-on-one time with that person. I mean, how much time do you really get every class when it comes to getting direct feedback from your instructional? Maybe 2 minutes, maybe a few seconds. I don't know. Most of the time, it's not much. What would it do for your game if you could have a world champion at, say, Brianna's level provide you 20 minutes of detailed feedback on exactly what you're doing right and wrong and how you can be better? And the answer is, and I can tell you this because we've got hundreds of premium subscribers around the world who do this, it's just a really transformative and powerful experience. So again, I definitely recommend signing up with us. We have, as far as I can tell, the best coaching team on the planet when it comes to doing online reviews like this. Our coaches as of this recording include, of course, Brianna St. Marie, Margot Ciccarelli, just won ADCC Europe, an amazing performance athlete. She has also created premium content with us. Emily Kwok is on there as a coach. Josh McKinney, host of the I Suck at Jiu-Jitsu podcast, is on there. We've got so many amazing coaches on there. I believe that collectively our coaching team has won something like 20 world championships. Definitely recommend signing up for our coaching tier and giving it a shot. And again, the main perk to all of this is that there's no lock-in. This is a monthly service. If you sign up and try this and you hate it, then just cancel, right? I mean, I would love you to stay forever, but at the end of the day, we do not lock you in. You can leave at any time. If you're further unsure, then understand that we also give a 7-day free trial. So you can try all of this out at no cost to yourself. And as long as you cancel within 7 days, you're good to go. You won't get charged a cent. And you know what? If you have even further doubts, now here's the freebie. If you have listened to this sales pitch, I think you deserve something for it, right? So check the show notes to this podcast. And in there, you will find 2 things. First of all, you will find a free course from our premium library that I want you to have. There's no cost. Just go and click the link in the show notes, redeem the coupon that I've got there. You're going to get it for free. And the second thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a discount on premium. If you're interested, but you need a little bit more time than the 7-day free trial to check it out, use the code in the show notes and you're going to get 50% off in your first month. So hopefully all of that is sufficient motivation to get you to check this out. And again, on a personal level, I can't tell you enough how important it is to me to get people to sign up. First of all, because one of the most meaningful experiences in my life is delivering value to people like you who listen and follow our work. It is so cool that I've had the opportunity to use this platform to build relationships with grapplers around the world. I want to do more of this. I want to make the best content I can for you guys. I want to give as much of it away for free without advertisements as I possibly can. I want to give you direct coaching from some of the black belts in the world. I want to help you network with your heroes in ways that you might not otherwise be able to do. And that's where Premium comes into play. The people who subscribe on Premium, they've changed my life. They fund this whole project. They're the reason everything is ad-free. And again, based on what I've explained here, I firmly believe that this is the best value stack you will find anywhere in jiu-jitsu. You know, a lot of other memberships, they're going to charge you $20 a month and you're going to get a video library. That's cool, right? But at the end of the day, you join Premium, you get this massive audio course library, you get a video library as well, you get direct coaching, and I haven't even gotten into the community side of things. Our Discord is an amazing resource and it's only for Premium subscribers. So again, if any of this is interesting to you, my request is check the show notes here. You will find a free course for yourself as a thank you for listening to all of this, and you will also find a discount code you can use to get 50% off your first month of Premium. Thanks for all of that. And again, I'm hoping this was a good explanation. We make a lot of content. So much of it is free, and I always want to make sure that people know about it. So again, tell me if this was a helpful primer on BJJ Mental Models. Please let me know. And if you want a visual of what I'm talking about, just hit up our YouTube channel. I will also put a link to that in our show notes so that you can see what I'm seeing on my screen right now as we're talking. But anyway, thank you again so much, everyone, for listening. As always, I greatly appreciate everyone hanging out with us here, giving me your time and attention. I understand how valuable that is in a world like today where there is this endless stream of content. The fact that you have helped us build this thing up to be one of the top resources in the world, it's not lost on me. And so I'm hoping that by creating all of this stuff and offering all of these discounts and value adds, I'm hoping that I'm giving back to you sufficient value so that you'll keep supporting us as well. But thanks a lot as always, and we'll talk to you next time. Take care.